What's up, guys? Kyle here again, and welcome to GEARCAST episode number 3. My guest tonight is Mr. JP Cervoni of Mezzabarba Amplification. How you doing, sir?
Hey, thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Looking
Thanks.
forward.
Thanks for taking the time to do it, man. Why don't you give us a short introduction of yourself? I truthfully don't know too much about you, so I'm curious. You got to tell me.
Well, my if you hear my accent, it's because I bought my computer in Italy, so it's got an Italian accent.
Yeah, it's the software, right?
It's a software,
Yeah.
right?
That's it.
It's fake. I use it to pick up girls. I used to.
Oh, it probably works better.
There you go. Anyway, hi everybody. Yeah, JP Cervoni here. I'm a guitar player by trade. Been playing the better part of my life. Luckily, I work with a lot of named people. But as well, I am the USA Canada distributor for Mezzabarba amps, and very happy to be because I love the product. I started with I lost. Oh, you got
I'm
it.
good. Yeah, sorry. You're good.
Sorry. I started as with Mezzabarba. I started as a guitar player. I was just a fan of the products. You know, I live in a valley in Los Angeles, and literally 5 minutes away from me on the same street, I got Wagner. Then down a little bit more, I got Friedman. And then I have, Sur, and, I got all the stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Since I did not want to take my super lead 78 point-to-point Marshall with me on the road when I was playing with the Babies, was a classic rock band called the Babies that I was a member of.
Okay.
I didn't want to take that amp on the road for obvious reasons. It could break, it get stolen, those jewels you want to keep safe.
Right.
So I started looking, around for things and ended up plugging in into a Mezzabarba. And I was impressed, man, because I like the sound and I like the flexibility of the amps. So I called the company, and one thing led to another. And the fact that I'm Italian, I speak perfect Italian, but I've been here for 40 years. So I've been around the block, here, and I'm very familiar with, Los Angeles and U.S. in general, as well as Canada, because I'm Canadian citizen.
Oh, okay.
Right. So we ended up teaming up, and so not only I use the amplifier for, personally, gigs and recording, but I am now, part of the business.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. So how long has that been that you've been part of Mezzabarba?
Probably like 5 years.
5
4 or
years?
5 years. We've been doing NAM shows every year and building the the name, and it's been successful, man. Every year the name gets bigger, the sales come in, people inquire about it, and I have amps now that have been used by the likes of Whitesnake, Satriani, Vi. I have Doug Rappaport. I got Eric Stickle. These are like great guitar players.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I got Iron Maiden. So we're trying to expand. Business wise.
Yeah.
And we're doing well.
Yeah, I know a couple years ago was the first time I'd heard of Mezzabarba, and I heard it on a forum. Somebody posted a video, and it was an Eric Steckel video. And he's a phenomenal player, but the tones were awesome.
The tones are often. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it helps when you're a good player. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I don't have that problem.
And Eric is one of the young league of rock, blues, metal guy. His style, we call it, blues metal.
Right.
Because he plays, with heavy distortion and pretty mean all the time. But he always stays on the blues side, the classic blues. And it requires a heavy sound, but still a clean sound
Right.
at the same time. If you can put those two together, which Mezzabarba does. And same with me. If you want to know a little bit more about the amp, I can give you a quick tech breakdown on it.
Absolutely, man. That's why we do this.
Well, I was partial to Marshalls when I was, in my younger days. Like I said, I'm still lucky enough to own my super lead with Mueller tubes, just original, just those amps were like, those amps were like the elite, man.
Yeah.
What I like about my old Marshall, which I wanted to get from a newer amp, is that I wanted to get more distortion, let's say, right? But I wanted to retain the bigness of the sound, the bigness, the what would it call the high five of it, big range of
More frequencies. Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, very. Let's put it this way, open. My
Right.
Marshalls is very open, even though it's aggressive. Like if I put a little pedal in front of it, a la Gary Moore or Zach, you know what I mean, or Ingve, this amp just screams, man. But it still stays open, and that's what I liked from the M0 series of Mezzabarba. That's what I use myself. It's an M0 Overdrive,
Mm-hmm.
and this amp has the flexibility of staying open, blues, AC/DC, Van Halen 1, Metallica. It goes right there. What it has a feedback knob that it's amazing. I don't really know how to explain it because I'm not the guy that designed. I'm not a tech guy. But
Yeah.
I know this much. Okay, if you want to stay on the dark and be mean and everything, the feedback goes less feedback, more master. If you want to go squeaky Van Halen 1 with all the harmonics and pissed off and everything, you open up the feedback, it brings you up to that open Marshall sound, but you have a choice to have more distortion if you want, which I love.
Yeah.
I find myself not really using pedals. I like pedals. I definitely like pedals. I like a boost pedal. I like an overdrive. I like a distortion pedal. And I do have it on my pedal board for a little bit of sweetness here and there, right? But before I was stuck using pedals all the time.
Yeah.
To let's say a Marshall.
Right.
Now with the M0 and the Trinity, that kind of beautiful compression, but I don't want to say, because before I said that they're not compressed. It's a certain kind of compression. It's a compression from the tubes, right?
Right.
Where it makes everything smooth.
Right.
The sound is still big, and the M0 line and the Trinity have that in. So I found myself not really using pedals other than I have it if I want to specifically go that extra crazy gain.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Take it over the top.
9 out of 10. No, like I do a Van Halen tribute thing, and I don't use any pedal. I just stay on channel 2 on my M0, and it just sings, man.
That's awesome.
Sings. The Trinity, the other newer amp line, is the next step from the M0, where if you want to get a little bit more of a modern sound, where you're a bit on the heavier side, if you're one of those guys that want to use the 7 strings or just have a little bit more of the modern hit sound, which is a bit more compressed than a M0, right? Then the Trinity is what they make now, and but the Trinity has a full versatility because it's got 3 channels. Each channel has got its own EQ. Each channel has got its own boost. The amp has 2 master volumes, so you can choose to have a boost on your lead without changing any gain, which is great, man. Because, not to make you laugh, but so many years, man, I'm playing in clubs, gigs. I'm playing, here I am, I'm going to be cool now. I'm going to play my solo. And I look over, and the sound man is either having a beer or is looking at some chick with big tits. And my solo is nowhere to be found, man.
Nobody ever heard it.
Yeah, nobody ever heard it, man. So now we have an option. We have an option on the M0 to have dual master, which I do.
Yeah.
But it comes standard with the Trinity, and I think it's a great thing, man, because you regulate your volume. You want to kick in your lead, and it goes up. But not only, you can have it as a second master to have it much louder. Turn your guitar down, and now your clean sound.
Yeah.
It's loud as well.
Yeah. Work the dynamics.
And anything in between. So those things are important today. They're more important. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. Like you said, like back in the day, I mean, obviously I wasn't around at that point, but everything that I hear, I love just kind of seeing where gear was back in the day and how it evolved and everything. And everybody was, especially after Van Halen come out, just trying to push their amps to the absolute max to get more gain. They wanted that saturation and that kind of liquid feel and sustain out of their amps, and it just wasn't possible with what was out there unless you threw pedals in front of it or, you know, cranked your amp to...
Well, not only with my Marshall, when I was using my Marshall, it was so loud.
So loud, yep.
So I had to put in, me personally, I used to, on the average, I would have like a DOD 250 pedal, like the one from Ingve.
Yeah.
You know, years ago, I had an original one. I would have that in the front, but the amp to really sound, I had to crank it at 10, and my God, man, it was so loud. So often I had to use something to scale it down, like an attenuator,
right,
as well. You know, so those were the requirements at the time. But what Pierangelo Mezzabarba did, which is what an important thing for me to make the choice to go, oh no, let me use a Mezzabarba, even before I became their distributor, is that somehow Pierangelo made the amp that once you get your gain, doesn't matter what channel 1 or channel 2, and now you're feeling the right distortion and compression under your fingers, it doesn't matter what volume you play it, because you can have it on bedroom volume, crank it up a bit more, crank it up for the gig. It doesn't change the gain structure.
Right.
Which is important. With my Marshall, it would change. If you plug into a JCM 800, man, one thing if the amp is a 2, one thing is a 5, one thing is a 10. Yep. It changes everything, man.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep adjusting and see what's going on. The pedal, how much gain on the pedal if you're using pedals. What I love about the Mezzabarba, it doesn't. The master works on any level you want to. It's killer. I just did a recording with Eric Steckel the other day, and we were talking about that because he said, wow, JP, I'm in the room, as you see, like that's Eric rig.
That's his rig. Okay.
Yeah, that's his Trinity inside a flying case because he flies all over the place.
Yeah.
To the 412. And we got a good microphone on it, but obviously we're not playing super loud, man. We can't. We're in this little room. And what comes back is just that kind of full, thick sound. You know, just like you would have the amp up. So we were reminded of, oh, how cool to have an amp that can do this. And we're recording a video and talking at the same time, but you're still getting that pissed off, mean sound like Eric likes. Right. He's got it at 10, man. I don't know how he does. He's got it channel 3 on the Trinity at 10, which is impossible, man.
Just the gain's at 10?
Yeah, the gain. That's how he plays. It's him, he does it, and Howie Simon, which does the same thing. Howie is the guitar player. He played with Alcatraz after Ingve.
Okay.
Yeah. And my God, man, I love gain myself. Like, you know, I do a Van Halen thing that you know, is super cool. But my God, if you go to the Trinity and you put the gain like a 5, it's already so. I mean, I'm happy with channel 2, not even a 10, and I'm already so much gain. Channel 3 on 10, I don't know how they do it, but it's there if you want to.
Yeah, it's crazy. Some guys just can play on anything and make it sound awesome, even with all that gain. You know what I mean? It really shows you how much of that sound is in the hands and the technique of the player.
Yeah, no, definitely. If you see Eric, if you guys go check Eric Steckel's videos or Howie, and you'll see it exactly what Kyle is saying. It's got a lot to do with how you can control the amp, how you hold the strings down so it doesn't feedback, you know, all of that stuff.
Right.
But the amp is responsive to whatever you want. And for the people that are interested in Mezzabarba, let me say this as well. The new Trinity heads not only have 3 channels, but what they have more than the M0 is that the M0 is truly like a sort of a better version of a JCM 800 Super Lead Marshall with all the goodies and more gain, like I said. The Trinity has the flexibility of having a true clean sound, which you don't really get with the M0. The M0, you're clean like Jimmy Page clean or AC/DC clean.
Okay.
You know, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it's clean like a Fender, but it doesn't have as much, you know, when you have that kind of Nashville bell sound that you get from an old AC30 or a Fender Bassman. Pierangelo put that into the Trinity. So the clean on the Trinity is super clean.
Okay.
If you want, with all the bells and the whistles. And then you can go on the other side and be extra super heavy if you want to. Still with the feedback where you can go dark metal if you want to, or open it up to be, White Snake-ish, or Steve Vai, that kind of vibe.
Right. So yeah, the Trinity obviously has a lot more flexibility for somebody who's going to be switching in between tones and stuff on the fly.
In short, I would have to say, if I would have to say it in just in a few words, is that M0 is classic rock, modern blues.
Okay.
In there you got White Snake, you got AC/DC, you got Van Halen, you got that kind of stuff. Trinity has all that the M0 has, but it's more modern. It's a little bit more pissed off, and it's a little bit more gained up and compressed.
Yeah.
More like a modern thing.
Right, a little bit more modern. Yeah, little compression, a lot darker, a little smoother.
Right.
I'm assuming.
And for somebody that is doing, let's say, more of a, I don't want to say a top 40, but a gig that has got more things, right?
Yeah.
You have the full spectrum with the Trinity because you can have every single thing set up the way you want to. I mean, listen, I do gigs with my M0 all the time, and I'm pretty open, man. The M0 still has a boost channel on channel 1, which if you don't use the gain boost, it's clean, of course. But with the gain boost, then it takes you to AC/DC.
Yeah.
And AC/DC with a pedal in front is super killer. And you haven't gone yet to channel 2 on the M0. M0 then gets a little bit more compressed, and it goes Van Halen with all the harmonics. You know what I mean? So it's flexible as well. I personally like the M0 myself because I'm more of a classic rock type of guy. I grew up with, Paul Kosso, Free, Bad Company, that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
And the M0, it goes from Metallica on.
Yeah.
I'm saying not the M0, the Trinity.
Yeah.
Go from Metallica on. You can go back to AC/DC, but then you can get super pissed off.
But the M0 still has a lot of gain on tap, right? It's just a lot more open.
Yes.
Okay.
The M0 is just a little bit more open, but it's got a lot of gain. Lot of gain. If you go on channel 2 all the way up, you're there, man. I mean, I do Van Halen not going up to 10. You know what I mean? I'm like a 7, 8 because I don't want to squeeze the 12AX7 preamp. I don't want to squeeze him at 10 because I don't want to get that compression. So it'll compress a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I like it a little bit open, so. But, I'm playing all that stuff from Eddie, Mean Street, all that stuff, and it all comes out from channel 2 with no pedals. And the feedback open, so it's really open, man. Everything that you touch, all the harmonics, when you hit an harmonic, it's as loud as the low E.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so the tone is, it's open. So that's what's up. But you can get that too, with the Trinity. Actually, I was just telling Pierangelo the other day that I was testing Eric's Trinity, but I was playing my way, playing my Van Halen stuff.
Yeah.
And on channel 3, on the Trinity, it's so much easy to play because that even compression that the Trinity gives you, everything you touch, it just comes out.
Comes right off the fretboard.
It comes right out, you know what I mean? And so it makes it easier to play.
Yeah.
So I go, oh, wow, this is cool. Every time I do this, everything jumps out.
Effortless, right? Yeah.
Effortless, right.
It's almost like a 5150 versus an SLO or something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just I grew up playing 5150s because they were so cheap and available. And the first time I got,
but they were good, man. They were good.
They're still my favorite amp. I have everything under the sun, and I still love them. There's just something about them.
That compression from the 5150, it's inside the Trinity if you want.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Very cool. But here's the thing: is as I've gotten older, I've grown to like open amps more.
Right.
And I
hear more tone.
Yes.
There's more tone.
There's more clarity. There's more dynamics, and they sound just more pissed off.
The pickups on the guitar are less powerful. They're a little bit less powerful.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because you hear more of the string, more of the wood, more of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I agree. That means you're getting old, man.
Yeah, my ears are getting old. It's happening to me already. Well, I'm already bald, man. You got me on the hair, so.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah. So like how I have the little Skill 30 up here. I can't point to it. There it is.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And
Cool.
I bought that on a whim, to be completely honest. I got a good deal on a used one, and I'm like, hey, let's give this thing a shot.
That
And
thing is pretty pissed off,
dude,
man.
it's so good. It sounds so good. Like the string separation and clarity and chords on that thing is like I've never played anything else like it.
Yeah, they're all like that. Both the M0 and the Trinity and the Skill. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're clear all the time, even though you can squeeze them and get chunk,
Oh
and
yeah.
get that
Yeah.
kind of heavy. But the M0 and the Trinity are a little bit more musical than the Skill 30.
Okay.
Because the Skill 30, it's a little bit on the V-cut sound. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
EQ wise. You know, it's raunchy, man.
Oh, dude, it's
Edgy,
mean.
it bites.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
The other one got a little bit, if you want to, you can definitely get the Skill 30 sound in it, but it's got a little bit more of that kind of upper mids in the middle. More like a Wagner Marshall Soldano, if you want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, of course, they're 120 watts. You know, they're more expensive. They're bigger amps.
Right.
But at the Skill 30, man, I did a whole tour with the Skill 30 and a 412 playing classic rock.
Oh, it's plenty loud.
Big festivals. Oh, it kills, man.
Plenty loud.
You think it's a small amp, but it's not, because it's pretty loud if you want to.
Yeah. I'd be curious as to what the actual power output is on that thing, because it's not 30 watts. It's got to be more than
it
that.
sounds to me more like a 50 watt.
Right. I would agree with that totally, because in my video that I did for it, I had that thing loud. Like my ears were ringing after I was done playing it. So probably too loud, but
no. But I hear you, because I used it for a gig because I didn't want to carry the heavier amps. It was easier to do them in and out, and it was a classic rock gig.
Oh yeah, that green channel on the crunch setting.
Yeah.
No,
it's perfect. And for people to know, if you have the Skill 30 in your room, your bedroom, let's say bedroom volume, the fact that it's got that extra. It's not a master volume. It's like an attenuator.
Yeah, the power knob.
It's a power attenuator. So you can have it at 10 watts, 5 watts, 20 watts, and it doesn't change the gain structure that you're playing. You know, so that's pretty cool too. It's good to record like that too.
Yeah, it's a nice feature. I noticed when I was messing with it, it kind of it made the amp a little bit quieter, but it kind of took a lot of the high end frequencies off, in that you could turn the master volume up and it wasn't as abrasive. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You can balance that up. You're totally right.
Right.
You're totally right. Because it allows you to have more of the power section in it.
Makes sense.
So, and you can, because I never really look at it as a volume thing. It's more of a find the sweet spot.
Yep. Yeah, because I didn't have it wide open. I had it dialed back a little bit because there was a nice spot in there.
Yeah, it's a spot where you want to see how much of the power tube you want to hear.
Yep.
The more power tubes, the more it opens up. You know, so you might have too much top. You can regulate it that way.
Yep, exactly.
That's how I used it.
Yeah. It's a very cool feature. I know. As soon as I played that thing, I wanted to try one of the bigger amps. I think I ended up talking to you shortly afterwards. But yeah, that thing won me over very quickly.
I think we're going to send you a couple of the heads and do your thing.
Awesome.
Make and give it a run and give your opinion.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm really excited because once I got the skill and did my video on that, I went down the rabbit hole of YouTube videos and checked out everything I could find. And it's like, you can't find a video where this amp sounds bad. Any of them.
Right. No. Yeah. Because Doug Rappaport sounds great on it. Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Killer. Eric has got great sound on it.
Right. It helps you guys have.
And just the other day, like I mentioned before, we're just here now with his setup, and I'm doing some videos that I'm going to post, and we're playing it on lower volume, and we're going, wow, you know, that kind of thick sound, you know, it's even on bedroom level like that. So we're happy, and I'm not using nothing. I truly have just a Shure mic into the 412 to the heads, straight into what I got it, this Zoom L8, you know, just one of those mini boards.
Right.
And so no extra compression, no extra nothing. It just clean from the amp. We thought, oh my God, we're gonna try to run it through, a preamp or blah blah blah. Nothing. No, we didn't need it.
And it just recorded nicely, huh?
Well, some of these new amps are good like that. I mean, Mezzabarba is like that. Wagner is still good. The Sur amps are good. This company rigged it now. You know what I'm saying? They're able to give you versatility. Like it didn't exist before.
No, yeah, because they understand, even though tube amps are an old technology, they've just really figured out how to get the best out of everything. Yeah.
And not to be partial to Mezzabarba, because like I said, I'm part of the company, but I did go through a lot of them because I live right here with all of them around.
Yeah, you got options. Yeah.
I like the fact that the Mezzabarba, I'm not a heavy metal player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I was a super heavy metal player, I would go with Diesel or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for me to have the sound where it can take me anywhere from Pink Floyd to AC/DC to Led Zeppelin to Van Halen to Metallica to a little bit more heavier than that, the Mezzabarba gave me all of that, more than me just plugging something else that had great sound, but it was more confined to that sound.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the amps are good. I mean, a Friedman amp is a good amp. Right. I like the way it sounds, but I can't get as much. I can get more out of something like a Mezzabarba.
Yeah.
So I have more choices.
So the cool thing about that, and I've noticed that about amps that are kind of open in general, is as long as they have the gain, you can really make an open amp sound darker and sound more compressed if you need to, especially with pickups and hitting a pedal out front. But you can't make a super compressed amp sound open.
Right.
So when you got a super
compressed, you're dead. Yeah.
Right.
And that's what happens. That's what happens, I think. And I'm not turning it down. I'm just using it as an example. Maybe a Diesel or amps like that they got that kind of. Then I can't relax into it.
Right.
Where a Mezzabarba you can.
Right. No, I completely. I have a Diesel Herbert, and it's an amazing high gain amp, but like the crunch sound.
Right, and you got the beautiful aggressive tone, but then you're not going to be able to play Pink Floyd clean with it.
No, it doesn't pull that stuff off, right? Whereas, yeah. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and I'm completely on board with what you're saying there too. I totally agree.
Very cool, very cool, very cool.
Yeah. Beautiful. So how about your guys' cabs? I don't know much about your cabs either. I'm assuming they're Birch Construction or.
Oh, total copy of the best Marshall from 68, 69.
Yeah.
Total copy. The thickness, the wood, the stuff, the panel in the back, the whole thing, man.
Everything.
They're heavy. They're solid, man. They're like, I still own two of my old Marshall cabs because when I bought my Super Lead that I mentioned before, it came with its original cabs.
Yeah.
And Angelo still has them. He's got one at the factory. Of my, they're like 45 years old, man.
Yeah. Was he use it as like a template or what?
Well, they wanted to use that box, the weight and the thickness and all of that. They wanted to get that kind of solid sound, because comparing, a lot of people don't know, the new generation, they think they check a Marshall cab and say, oh, great. But they're not the same as before, man. The one before, the wood was heavier.
Yeah.
Thicker. It's they resonate different.
Right.
So Pierangelo made those cabinets like that. And what he did just lately, he did a lot of tryouts. His basic speakers have been greenback 25s and vintage 30s, right?
Yes.
So a lot of the cabinets up to last year, we had
I'm still here. Don't worry.
Okay. Good. Yep. He's been having greenback 25s and or vintage 30s. But what he did now, he changed, and now he's using as a standard heritage greenback 20 watts.
Okay. So those are like the same as the speakers that come in the EVH cabs, right? The heritage greenback.
Exactly the same ones.
Okay.
He did a comparison to two, and he liked them because they have a little bit more clarity still.
Yeah.
they sink just a little bit more.
Okay.
They still handle the power, so even though they're 20 instead of 25 watts, because I asked him, I said, my God, are you going to pop those things? You know,
Right.
but no, he got extensive, tryouts, and so that's what he comes in now. The standard has got the 20s or the, and I don't know too much about vintage 30 myself, but he explained it to me that the vintage 30s that he's using into the 412s, if you want vintage 30s,
Yeah.
are the best ones. So there must be more than one kind. I'm not familiar with the vintage 30 myself too much.
There's a lot of
They're
argument.
Chinese. I don't think they're Chinese. I think they're English.
Oh, if he's getting English ones, then yeah, they're gonna sound a little bit different. So
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I know that he explained to me that he made the switch. But for the people that like the greenback 25s, that option is there.
yeah.
So if somebody wants a 412, with 25s,
Right.
I mean, I grew up with 25s myself.
Oh, they're a great
So
speaker. Yeah.
I'm partial to that sound a lot, even though I did something that is super cool. On one of the Mezzabarba amps that I have, I told Pierangelo Mezzabarba to do this. Make me a stereo 412, but two of them are the greenback 25s, and two of them are the 20s.
Oh, okay.
So I can plug in the back either one side, and I'm into the 25, or the other side, and I got the 20s. Why? Because I leave it in my recording studio home. So only I have to do, I can mic one, get a great tone, and then when I need to double up a guitar, but I don't want to use the same sound, all I do is just move it to the other speaker.
Yeah.
It's still a selection. It's that sound, but it's just enough difference
that
I have a
things
choice.
up a little bit.
But
Yeah.
and if I want to do a solo that it's a little bit more spanking, I use one or the other one. So super cool to do.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Super cool to do, even with the guitars that I use. Because if I'm using a humbucker, I probably tend to go towards the 20s, get a little bit more open. If I have a Strat that is really bright, I move it to the 25. So it's very cool.
Awesome. Yeah, they does he combine greenbacks and V30s in the same cab?
If you want to, yes.
Okay. So it's kind of like a custom order deal, or
Yeah, I think so. Because I think he made one for Howie Simon, the Alcatraz guitar player. And I think he's got a vintage shirt in a 25 inside a 212. A 212.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, I was worried that because Howie plays pretty loud, I was worried it was going to fry one of the speakers.
Right.
But no. And Howie has a 412 that he uses, but he leaves it home because these days, it's a pain in the ass to put a 412 in your car or whatever to do gigs. So Howie did a 212, and I think he was the first one to give me a vintage 30 and a 25, and he's been really happy with it.
Yeah, they sound really good together. Actually, this Friedman cab behind me, it's got V30s on the bottom and greenback 25s on the top, and it's my favorite cab.
And it's a 412?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I think I think you get more of a 3D sound.
Yeah.
Right? It feels like, because you can feel the low end cleaner, and then you feel the highs cleaner.
Right. You're not getting four speakers putting out the exact same frequencies.
Yeah, because when I heard the Howie's cabinet, it was like that. You go, oh, it's almost like you're taking a little bit of the blanket off on it. You hear a little bit more of everything.
Right, exactly.
And who knows? Maybe the fact that they're not reacting at the same. Our ears perceive, sound by space and everything. Who knows? Maybe the fact that the speakers are not doing exactly this at the same time.
Right.
We hear it. You know what I mean? We hear the openness of it.
And that's why some speakers blend really well and some don't. And it just so happens that the greenback 25 and the V30 blend really, really well.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. So
good for the 412. I'm sure Pierangelo knows this, but I did experience it with the Howie cabinet, and yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's a really good speaker combination for sure. Cool.
But very cool. What I did too, it was very smart for me. I did it just for fun. But the fact that I can just go from one to the other one like that is super cool, man.
Yeah.
Myself, like I said, I like 25s, so I like that tone.
Yeah, but to have the option, especially in a studio setting, is a nice feature for sure.
The 20s are a little bit more clear. There's a little bit more high fidelity on top of it, a little bit of more sparkle.
Yeah.
And that's what Eddie used
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
Van Halen 1, he was using those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the sum of all parts, including the player for his tone. You know, you can't
Yeah,
really get his tone exactly unless you're him. But
yeah,
yeah, greenbacks and a cranked plexi. I mean, that's the sound, man.
that's the sound, man.
Yeah. So like,
Totally
did
right.
you on your Marshall? Did you have anything modified on it, or is it all stock?
For a long time, I did not, but I was stuck with using it at 10,
Yeah.
right? And bringing it down with something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've used different ones, the one that were at the time. But then I got scared. I said, man, I'm just pushing this amp so much.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like such a jewel of an amp. So what I did, I went to David Bray.
Okay. Yeah.
David Bray is one of the guys here, Los Angeles area. He's a little bit out of Los Angeles, but he's here in California.
Yeah.
And I drove to his place, man. He lives in the desert, man. And I talked to him. I saw one of his amps, and he started by doing mods,
Mm-hmm.
Marshall mods. And he started with mod 1, which was a Van Halen mod, what he would call it.
Yeah.
And then he's got 2 and 3 with more gain. Some of them, I think they had an extra tube, which I didn't want to. And I took it to him. So my super lead now is got nothing, not that much tweaking. I have it so I get a little bit more gain without totally cranking the amp up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's still open, and I think what he did, which was very cool. As we know, Eddie would bring the amp down, with a variac a little bit,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we did with my Marshall was that he went to the transformer, and where the hookups to the transformer where you can go 120, 220, 110, whatever. He brought it down. He hooked it up, so when I turn it on, I'm on either 110 or maybe 100 something. He brought it down. So
It's
even
probably
though
to
I'm
100,
to
yeah.
120, but I'm lower. And it's like that all the time.
Yeah.
I don't have a variac.
Okay, so did you notice a big difference from that 10 volts? Does it feel squishier a little?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit. It gets a little bit less harsh.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a little bit less harsh. I don't think I went down to 90. I think he only went down maybe to 110, if I remember right. I should ask him actually, because I want to know. But the amp it's a little bit smoother. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's still loud, man. It's still loud as hell.
Right, but those old plexis cut your head off with brightness when they're turned up like that.
Right,
They're
right,
very bright.
right.
Yeah.
And so it gets a little bit more tamed down.
Yeah.
And it gets a little bit squishy, a little bit compressed, but it's still big because it's an old Marshall. But that indirectly, I went, shit, man, I like this sound so much, but I can't take this amp on the road.
Right.
Babies. And that's when I went, I need to go look for something. And that's how again, like I mentioned before, that's how I ended up going to Mezzabarba.
Okay. Did you try? I mean, obviously you settled on.
I tried everything. I love the Friedman. I love the Friedman on low volume.
Yeah.
When I plug in the low volume, it sounded very Marshall-y like, and I love the feel of it, right? But with at the time with the Babies, and then I have another project that I play that I do an homage to Jimi Hendrix, right?
Okay.
The issue was that, including with my Marshall or the Friedman, was that, fuck, I'm getting this killer tone, right? I get this beautiful tone. But now if I have to go really clean and play, Little Wing or play the stuff that I did with the Babies, a lot of them was very clean. I didn't have it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to use pedals to try to jump up and down. Let me use a boost here. Let me use this, blah, 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 blah. When I saw the M0 head, I realized that, wow, channel 2, it's pissed off. So here's all my leads, or here's my Van Halen, here's my White Snake. On channel 2, I don't have to do nothing. On channel 1, I have a channel 1. I have a boost on channel 1.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
If I take off the boost on channel 1 and the preamp is like 6, 7, the way I have it, or sometimes a 10, but I'm clean. If I back off my guitar, I am clean, like a Fender clean.
Yeah.
When I go boost in, now I'm AC/DC, all the power chords, man.
Yeah.
And then I was one of the first one to ask him to give me a double master. So he made me a double master. He's the double master.
Awesome.
You know
So
what I mean?
is that a standard feature on the M0 or is that like an
No,
add-on?
no, the master is an add-on.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I
But
noticed that there were a
but the
couple
Trinity,
features.
the Trinity has it. The Trinity has it.
Okay. But he'll do that for you, right? If you want to
Yeah,
add
yeah.
on.
It's only a couple $100 or so. It's not that much.
Yeah, because I know that with the skill, there was a couple like different features you could add on if you wanted to too.
Right.
So that's cool that he does custom extra features offered like that for each amp.
Yeah. So that's what, again, I went to the Mezzabarba and said, oh, I see. It is flexible enough, right, for me to have a little bit of clarity if I need to right on the spot without trying to switch any pedals or anything.
Yeah.
But don't forget, though, it's the only amp. I don't know if another amp has what he calls feedback. Maybe some other amp has it. I don't think Shure has it. I don't think Friedman has it.
I don't think so. No.
But the feedback, man, it's a killer, man. The feedback, you can feel it. Once you set up all your gain and your EQ, right, and you don't touch it, you're right there. You leave it the way you like it. Now you go to the feedback and just open and close, and you got a different amp, man. You just find the sweet spot for that sound that you're looking for that day, for that gig.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it transforms the amp.
Like, I'll give you a specific example. Doug Rappaport loves sort of a classic Les Paul Jimmy Page tone.
Mm-hmm.
His feedback is minus 12 o'clock. He's down.
Okay.
He's down to 9:10. Right. He closes the feedback. It cranks the master up some more.
Okay.
So he gets a sort of a thickness sound.
Right. Right.
Eric and Howie have and myself, I have the pickup open. No, if I do Hendrix, I actually have it all the way open, man.
Yeah, nice bright spanky type tone.
Bright spanking, because with a Stratona you get that kind of spanking tone, man. Mm-hmm. If you want to, you know what I mean. And same with Van Halen. Van Halen 1 is the same. You know, so, and that's the same amp. That's the same amp, and I don't touch the gain. I don't touch nothing. I just open up to the requirement of that.
Yeah. So that's a nice option for really kind of added versatility.
I think that's what really sold me as well, because I went, oh, nice versatile. Then I went, what is this? And I went, wow. And I was scared of opening it up, right? But I talked to Pirangelo, said, no, try. Open, and you like all Marshall, so put it at 10. Is it at 10? So yeah, because when you go at 10, the volume goes up too.
Right.
I don't know what it's doing, man, but it opens up.
Yeah.
You know.
It seems to do the same thing on the skill, honestly. I know they're called different things, but on the skill, when you have that thing opened up, it is just like,
it just, wow.
All the frequencies come out. Yeah.
And just like you said, since the amp is open, if you want to go less specifically here and there, you can, because you can go down. But if your amp is only here, you can't open it up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. At least you have the option with that dial to kind of
add the level of power. That was a selling point. That was a selling point for me to go, okay, I'm going to get this amp, you know.
Yeah. Definitely a unique feature. I don't know if you can answer this, but a lot of people, especially when the amps came out, kind of likened them to Soldano. Do you know why? Yeah. Did he base anything off Soldano circuits?
Yes.
Okay.
If you ask Pirangelo what he grew up with and what he liked the most, he'll tell you Soldano and Wagner.
Okay.
Soldano and Wagner were the people that he looked up to.
Very cool.
Of course, he had Marshalls, and he played Marshalls, you know, when he was a kid and everything. And of course, he likes Marshall. Who doesn't? You know, whatever.
Right.
9 out of 10 classic rock is, you know, it's Marshall based.
Right.
But he absolutely loved the Soldano, and that's why what he was able to do is get that kind of smoothness, distortion from the Soldano, because that's what we love from the Soldano.
Right.
Right. But keeping that on any volume. He was able to do that, which I liked. More, you know, the Soldano is somewhat like that too, but the Mezzabarba even more than that. Like, you get that kind of smooth, easy playing, and then you can have it on any volume.
Okay. Very
And
cool.
one last thing that I want to say that it's important, that was personally another selling point, but just in general, when when I was looking for amps, and I went to a lot of the newer Marshalls, right? And
Yeah.
some of them sounded okay, some of them sounded okay, but every time I would plug in the effect loop,
No
no,
good.
bad loop, man, bad
Yeah.
loop. I remember buying then a JCM 800 that was really good, man, and I'm so mad that it happened to me. But I had a JCM 800 because again I didn't want to bring my super lead on the road, so I said
Right.
let me get a JCM 800, and I had a guy put in a loop in it, and it fucked the amp up.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't as
Ah.
good as because every time I plug in the loop, now we put there is a send and a return. There's another thing. It changed the gain structure of the amp,
Yeah.
and some of the other amps was the same.
Right. Right.
The Marshall loops are shit, man. They're
Yeah.
not there. They're serious loops. They're not that good. And what I noticed from the Mezzabarba is, and he told me, I would say I'm pretty sure that I'm right saying this. Like I said, I'm not a tech, but I did ask him. I said, Pirangelo, your loop, if I plug the stuff in and out, nothing changes. Like if I got the sound without the loop, and then I plug in the loop in and I play something, I got the same sound. I never experienced that. Something always fucking goes up or down or whatever. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
And I guess what he said, like I said, I'm not a tech, so. But he said, well, JP, I made the amp so it doesn't matter if you plug in or not, because I'm making the sound go through the loop, even if you don't pull the loop.
Okay. So it's not
Like
bypassed.
yeah, it's for one, it's a tube loop, so it's analog, right?
Mm-hmm.
So however it is that is kind of the sound and the way that the tone is structured, everything, the sound is going through there all the time. You don't have to use the loop at all. But if you plug in, you're not adding nothing. It's already there.
That's interesting. Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
in there. Yeah. So it's just on and off, man.
Yeah. It never
And
changes
nothing
anything.
changes. So there is no sand or there's nothing. No, it's there, man. It's part of the structure of the amp, so that's how you get the sound.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very
And
cool.
I could tell the difference, because it depends what you plug it into the loop as well, But the worst thing that I hated with the loop, especially the boutique amp that has send and return, trying to set up this shit in the back of the amp with my stuff. It's so stupid,
Right.
And with Pierangelo, I just plug it in, and it doesn't matter what I plug in, it's there,
It's
done.
good to
I'm
go.
done.
Yeah.
Nothing
Exactly.
changes. Yeah, so that's a good one.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's a really important feature, especially for my other guitarist, who's the lead guitarist in my band. He's super picky about the loop, and he'll, like you, if the amp has a bad loop, it doesn't matter how good it sounds. If it changes his tone when he kicks stuff in, he won't play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The volume, the gain.
Right.
Sometimes it kills the gain. It makes the notes a little bit. Usually, in general, I always found out that to turn a little bit, and the guitar would be just a little bit weaker.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to. I don't want to lose nothing, man.
Right. You want it to be exactly the same, just with your effects.
And the Mezzabarba are like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited to try these amps, by the way. I really appreciate that. That's I got a Soldano SLO 100 yesterday. And
cool.
I grabbed it.
Oh, the new, but the old one or the new one?
It's the new one. It's a 2020.
Well, hopefully it's okay, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even played it yet, so I have no idea. But
let me know. I want to know. Though.
Well, the reason I got it is I really wanted to compare it directly to a Mezzabarba and see how similar they sound, because a lot of people ask me, and I try to give people what they ask me on my channel. And when they heard the Skill 30, a lot of people said they heard Soldano influence. So
you'll hear that from the other ones too.
Yeah.
But I think but you let me know. So do your own thing, and the difference is the Mezzabarba, like we said before, they're bigger if it need be. They're
right.
just much more open steel.
Right.
So it's a Soldano inside a Marshall, that vibe.
Dude, that sounds like a dream amp to me, so that sounds cool.
That's what I mean. I said, yeah, man. If Absolutely. You go that way, I'm on.
Best of both worlds, right?
Same with me.
Awesome. Well, do you know if there's anything new coming down the pipeline, or is he just hanging tight with these designs that he's got out on the market right now?
Yeah, I think I don't know if he stopped because of COVID and everything, because he had to close shop for a while. I think he's trying to make. He was working on a pedal board that had the preamp of the Trinity in it.
Ooh, okay. Very cool.
So you could use that and plug it in into any kind of power amp or any other amp if you wanted the Trinity without carrying the big heavy Trinity head.
Right.
We do have already a preamp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Nirvana? Is that what
Yeah, the Nirvana, which is, it's a 2-rack and, just like a nice preamp and all of that. But he wanted to do a more on the floor, more like a little mini pedal board. Maybe you can just punch in presets on the fly you're playing, which is a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a little mini pedal board. So I know he was working on that, and he's making now 212s, not only horizontal, but I think he just made now with 212 up this way.
Awesome. Yeah.
Just big enough. He was explaining where you can actually put the head on it, and it still looks cool.
Okay.
And so, some of them are thin and the head sticks out. It looks like
looks dopey. Yeah. It's got to look good, man. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Those horizontal or the vertical 212 seem to be getting more popular. That preamp pedal though, that's something.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Because a lot of companies are kind of moving to stuff like that, and I typically am just a big tube amp guy. But my band went to Europe 2 years ago, and I had to use somebody's busted dual rectifier for a 10-day tour, and it was not the most fun thing in the world to play. So now it's kind of been my goal to do like a pedal board amp that I can just take with me over to Europe the next time we go. So right now I have a Friedman BEOD as the preamp, and a KSR. I'm not sure if you've heard of KSR, but they make a series preamp pedal. But a Mezzabarba one would be awesome to throw on there too.
A Mezzabarba with tubes in it or something.
Yeah. Those are becoming really popular. That's probably a good move on his part to turn one of his
I know
amps in there.
That funny. Yeah. I will double check with it, and then we'll keep the people informed.
Awesome, man.
Thank you, Kyle.
Dude, thank you for having me. Thank you for your time, JP. I appreciate it, man.
Listen, I have Eric Steckel with me every day. Okay, he's with me before he goes home. He just came back from visiting his parents, but he's with me every day.
Okay,
like he's on his way now and everything. So let me know if you want to sit down with him like me and get a quick interview on Eric, because Eric is kick-ass, man.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. Very cool.
Okay, you guys can talk about it. Ask him why he's partial to the Mezzabarba now and all of that. So you get a different information from not just a guy that is as well part of the company, but just a player that made a choice. He used to use diesel all the time,
right?
And everything, but he went with Mezzabarba, for his reason. We'll ask him.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'll text you about that later. Last thing before you go, how can people find you to get a hold of you for amps and stuff like that if they want to ask some questions or place an order?
Mezzabarba has a USA base, which is my company, which is called one word, Overdrive Distribution.
Okay.
OverdriveDistribution.com. But if you go to Mezzabarba.com, you'll see Overdrive there as well. Because I don't want people to think that these amps come all the way from Italy and then tech support, if something goes wrong, you have to deal with, that far away. No, we're based out of LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I actually...
We got a warehouse here, and tech support, all of that, it's all for me. And even though I have an accent, I speak English good enough.
Yeah, I could understand most of what you were saying.
If you call the guys in Italy, then, you
might be a little harder.
Yeah, right.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, JP, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on and talking to me. It was a pleasure, man.
Yeah, right back at you, man.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
We'll talk soon. Take care.
Good. Bye. Ciao.